we're in my hometown, you know what I'm saying, Tennessee. Anywho, this just to check in for the moon day, as I said, the intentions. So let's jump straight into it. So first off, I was working with my boss today, so it's like I was very irritated and very annoyed because I was delayed for getting swept up in my moods as far as waking up. You know, my intention now is to go receive receive the scheduling and the energy, and to write down the schedule, because it takes more energy thinking about what you're going to put on your to-do list and schedule than it actually does writing down your schedule. And like I said, my manager was a projection of what energy I wished or desired to that I expected to be in as far as jumping back into work. And I was in my head about that, but being grounded and stable, because it's not a lot of earth energy. The Virgo is the only earth energy that we have. I was keeping that energy to myself, letting it flow, letting it go. I'm questioning it, questioning the how, but with a little bit of mix of the why, not wanting to be there, and overthinking, of putting myself, grounding myself in the present moment. So how you give is how you're going to receive. Like, yes, I set the intention on Sunday, given with the expectation of receiving immediate, pleasure, good reflections and intuitive reflections, which is not how I was given. I was given out of analytical Virgo like energies. So it's like when you give something out of, I don't know, let's say Virgo season, overcorrection, overthinking, critical thinking or critiquing, you're going to be receiving that energy. You're going to be receiving it with critical thinking, critical eyes, curious eyes, overthinking it, or in that manner. That's not the overall objective, but subjectively, from that standpoint, that's how it was carrying out and playing out. So be sure to shake off the energies. I didn't have that space to bounce back, so that was irritating me with feeling stuck, aka, like I said the other day, Colliers or Tethys or Mercury and Venus entering Leo. It's like Virgo and Leo is real good about, like, Leo's real good about receiving the attention and breaking shit down to where you're not getting under their thumb and making it about you. It's still gonna be about Leo. And Virgo's still about, we're gonna make this shit perfect and we're gonna find the details, and this is how we're gonna get our shine. And the way we're critiquing and being the boss, this is how we're gonna get our shine type energy, right? So that's how I was receiving that energy with that Virgo Leo dynamic aspect as well. So there was a lot of that happening. And then we transitioned into the lunar portion, the Phoebe transitioning into Libra, where that North Node in Pisces for me was personally like, I was going to grab something from my children, saying a little gift, and it was like forcing myself to do so was thinking and rationalizing with that Phoebe or that moon transit in Libra, because it's like, okay, the more you try to balance it out and make it make sense, the more time you're eating up. It's like defeating the purpose, because it's like Libra is about bringing the balance, the scale, and being diplomatic. So like you see courtrooms, they have everything looking good and political and things like that, but really, salvation doesn't look good like in the beginning, nor does being condemned look good in the beginning or in the end, right? It's about the middle ground. So Libra wants things to look aesthetically pleasing and pleasant while overthinking it, while not taking the action. And that's where it's opposing Neptune in not Neptune, but the North Node in Pisces, because it's like just a misunderstanding, just a misalignment. Pisces is about self-love, compassion, and intuitive ability. So you got to go with the flow, and that goes back to this Virgo season, which I learned reflecting back, is that, for me personally, a Virgo ascendant, I was in my own, I was critical, because it's like my own personal way of critiquing, analyzing, or my own personal schedule that I was being hard on myself about, needed to be applied to seventh house ideals with Piscean natures, where it's like being intuitive, going with the flow, being receptive, to my relationships and how other people are going to have their schedules and want to critique things, to bring things together, to work together, right? And also that is putting my self-love and compassion for my seventh house, taking those relationships of how other people are going to be thinking and scheduling things and placing that to where, okay, I can have compassion for my personal scheduling and routine based off of how these people, places, and things, and us being one collective consciousness. It's not just about me. It's not just about what I'm failing to do. Shout, thank you for the like. Thank you for the viewer. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel and comment on my post. If you, I'm mentioning Hyperion and Phoebe. These are all the Titan forms of astrology. So, we can't see. You see me now? You hear me now? You see me? You can't see me because we're emanating. We're emanating that aura, that glow. But yeah. And so the thing that I was learning to balance out there is about how overthinking, like I said, just being ungrounded at the time. And when you think about it, with this Virgo season and this, you know, the nodes, Piscean energy, it's like you don't have, when you think of go with the flow, you're thinking of, okay, I'm going with the flow, but I have my limits, like a creek or a river. No, Piscean energy is not the creek, it is neither the river, it is neither the pond. It doesn't have boundaries, it is the ocean. Shout Stitch Queen, hi. Yes, I like hockey. I went to my first hockey match a while back in Nashville, Tennessee. But staying on topic, like, you don't have any boundaries when you're in the ocean. So even if you feel like you're bumping against a boundary, you're really not. So you're doing yourself a disservice by trying to get back and self, you know, limit yourself based off of your surroundings or the borders around you, because there's nothing there because it's the ocean. So open up your mind some more. Open up your mind some more and keep that energy where that's at, and leave that where that's at. And moving forward and taking action. And that was what was being reciprocated to me. You play hockey? I'm glad you play hockey. What position do you play? What position in hockey do you play? And do you play for college, or do you play for high school, or like what have you? Like, where are you from where they play hockey? Because anywho, that's pretty much the summary, you know, because it's Cancerian hours. Oh, speaking of Cancerian hours, Jupiter's in Cancer, squaring Mars, right? Squaring Pallas on Mars. Pallas is about strategy. Mars is about your action is in detriment, meaning it doesn't do well here. It struggles here, right? So, but Jupiter in Cancer is in this exaltation, so it has a superior higher ground. So we're more about expanding on our comfort zone. Damn, these some beautiful spirit guides out here with me, and the Fae. But yeah, it's about expanding your comfort in your home, right? So squaring that balance, you know, having passion about your balance, passion about communication, passion for other people. It's like we're learning how to balance that out, especially with our emotions here. What emotion are people putting you in the box in where you feel like you have to pick a side? Because you don't have to pick a side. Take the middle path, take that equilibrium, and stay firm in that, and you won't be seeking comfort, or you won't be underwhelmed, uncomfortable. So with that square, with those cardinal signs, with that, you know, it's more, we're in between that period, actually being the Virgo season. So it's like you have the fall energy on the right hand incoming, and you have that Cancerian energy on the left hand path. So like I said in my previous intention, the nostalgic energy, release that nostalgia, because that's the past, right? But Jupiter's still in the present. But the way you're expressing or giving attention to, nah, you gotta go for it. You got to experience that comfort. Be in your glow, be in your comfort, be in your glow, be in your comfort, and things of that nature. So doing that, and a Libra, you're falling off into your passions and your motives. Like this one astrologer said, you're fighting. Mars and Libra isn't necessarily about fighting for yourself. It's about fighting for others, or letting others fight for you. So recall that time when you're fighting for others. Like I said, looking into outside of yourself what the external scheduling is and how that's taking place, and how you receive that intention, scattered thinking. Oh yes, and the beginning reflecting that was being reflected back to me was that dust element, that it was still in the cusp, but it's that dust element where Virgo in the late degrees is meeting Libra, and it's like dust is in the air. So ideas look practical, but you end up talking about them more than you're taking action towards them. So that's where you can be distracted in like this talking about relationships, sharing your relationships and experiences with that square, versus you're initiating balance, but you're also, which passions and motivation, but you're also initiating, you need to initiate that comfort, not that self-soothing kind of comfort, but that protective kind of comfort, that kind of comfort that initiates that vibe for people to stay afloat in, that kind of comfort that brings, sextile to the sun, that brings, kicks up that dust, not in the airy fashion, but in a water-like fashion, where you can connect to it, where you can connect your emotions to it, where you can have a pocket of your emotion or emotional bubble that goes in one direction and it goes in another direction that has you floating on the equilibrium with that north node. So with that being said, I thank you all for being in attunement and hearing this energy. So I gotta get back to the work. But then thank y'all. Thank y'all. I love y'all. Y'all have a good day. Hey, you look, I love you. I love your energy. I love your vibes. You are special. You are unique. Don't let nobody tell you that you're not. Don't let your mind tell you that you're not. Get out of your head. Stay present. Stay grounded in the moment. There's no time like the present to affect the future and the past. And pay attention to your loved ones and let your loved ones pay attention to you. And invest in yourself and investing in others. And just all positive affirmations. I love y'all. Use your voice. Speak up. Talk. Whether know what you're saying. Like when you're saying, because your body language is speaking. Your aura is speaking. It's 98% of our talking is like the ocean and it's like the glaciers. You only see a percentage level, but pay attention to your body, your mind, your nerves, your systems. Look, pay attention to that, to your wrist, your left brain, your intention, the way you're thinking, because that's going to reflect your actions, and your actions have their own parts that are receiving that energy in different parts of your body. So thank you all. Thank you. Shout out Stitch Queen. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel. I enjoyed y'all. And, look out for more. Thank y'all. Peace.